This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the WBA featherweight champion of the world, Leigh Wood. Leigh, how are you?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. Getting there, recent operation on my shoulder, day by day, making fast progress. I'm very, very excited to get back out.
What happens after you've just had that surgery on your shoulder? What does rehab look like?
So the first few days is all about getting it moving. So if you stay in one position or don't move enough, obviously it's going to heal, and you've got scarring, scar tissue, and things can seize up. So it's all about movement, really. So it's the opposite to what people think. Get it moving, mobility, not too much load because all the tendons are settling, and obviously you've been opened up. So you need to be careful. But yeah, past that stage now, we're on to week 4. I'm doing weights, doing bits and bobs. I can't punch and I can't lift heavy like chest press and stuff. But yeah, I'm on track and it's feeling quite good.
How long had the shoulder been bothering you before you went under the knife?
So after the Reese Mold fight, I did some weights and really irritated it. And it took 7 or 8 weeks. But it was really bad. I couldn't punch a lot. I couldn't lift any weights. I couldn't do certain weights. And then we got the call for the Kanzu fight. And literally, I had an injection a few days before. And we didn't even know if it was going to last me for the camp. Obviously, I had to stay away from things that irritate it. There were so many things we had to work around, and Ben done a really good job of that. Luckily, it lasted, it held out for the fight, and I think it was the day after the fight, I thought, that's a bit sore. And then after having a 2 weeks break, going back into the gym full time, I couldn't even punch, I couldn't lift anything, hardly anything I could do, to be honest. I was just running and using my left hand. Obviously, I went back to see the specialist, and he said, look, we can't keep injecting it, get risk of infection, and it might not even last as long this time. So, you got to have this procedure. Luckily, I had the same procedure on the other side back in 2016, so I kind of knew what I was up against and what I need to do for recovery. But he's done it in a slightly different way this time as well, so it should be faster.
How does it actually feel right now?
I can't really feel it. I mean, I did some bits and bobs this morning. I'm progressing all the time now, back onto pull-ups. I'm always pushing. Sometimes I do too much, but I'm just pushing the ball exactly where I need to be, I think, and it feels really good. Obviously, I've not tried to punch it. I've not tried to do the things I'm not supposed to do. I'm just going to wait, because it's one of them injuries where if you try to do things too early, it can push you back, because it's a bone injury. It's bone on bone. So if you start pushing and grinding it, it's just not going to heal. But yeah, I'm on track. I've got another appointment. I'm there to see him on Wednesday. I've got an appointment at 6 weeks, and that's when I find out what I need to do and if I can start doing more.
What sort of improvements do you expect to see going forward now that once the shoulder is back to 100%?
Obviously, I think fighters progress in fights. So you get a lot of experience on fight night. Sometimes you can't get in the gym, you can't get it in sparring, and your confidence, and you're growing all the time, your confidence as you get these big wins, especially wins like I've just got when you're not expected to win. And not only that, you're questioning yourself, you're asking yourself questions. Can I mix it at this level? Can I do this for 12 rounds? Can I do this? And I'm answering all these questions all the time. Then I go again, can I do it at a better pace? Can I put more power shots in throughout the fight? Can I push this? Can I do this? Can I do that? And all the time I'm pushing myself to the limit. And I think that's why you improve fight by fight. And I think I did that in my last fight. So I'm expecting an even better performance and pushing the bar again for my next fight.
Now, last week we saw the purse bid results for your mandatory defence against Mick Conlan. Were you expecting Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to win the bids?
Yeah, I was expecting him. I was expecting to win. Eddie's got a great setup. Matchroom's a massive company, they're massive in boxing. So I did expect him to win. I didn't know, and I still don't know, where it's going to be. That's the biggest question, what everyone's asking me, and I can't answer that question. I don't really know. Obviously, I would love it to be in Nottingham. I feel like I deserve a homecoming. Last time I boxed in Nottingham was 2019, defending my Commonwealth. I've gone away and won British, a WBO European, and now a world title. So I feel like I'm about to do a homecoming fight, especially for my following and my fans. But, if we have to go abroad or I have to go away, I can wrap my head around it. It's not a problem. And hopefully the fight after that, I'll finally get my homecoming.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be Ireland, so you can breathe a sigh of relief on that score. But it does look like the leading contender, if you like, at the moment is New York, perhaps on the same bill as Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. While it does deny you a homecoming for the time being, can you understand why it would make sense financially to take place over there?
Absolutely. Obviously, you've seen the purse bids, so money needs to be generated to recoup that money to kind of balance the books. So in Nottingham, especially that time of year, you know, the Forest Grind is my dream fight. In March, in season, it's probably not going to happen. You know, just the temperature alone. I mean, I know there is an international break in March for 2 or 3 weeks. We haven't got a home game, so it could line up perfect. But you know, the temperature, like I said, March, it's freezing cold. I don't know. We'll see what they say. The arena only holds about 9,000 packed to the rafters, so that's probably not going to recoup or generate the income to balance at his book. So I think New York is probably the biggest option at the minute, the best option. There's a lot of Irish fans out there. It's probably be more Irish there than boxing in his own back garden, but it is what it is. You know, like I said before, I've been underdog in other fights. I've been against it in Yorkshire when I boxed Wales, and you know, the whole crowd got behind him, even Gav McDonald, and it don't affect my performance, to be honest. If anything, it's going to pick me up.
Is there a positive to it as well, getting to kind of star in the mecca of boxing, if you like, out in New York, and you know, raising your US profile as well?
Absolutely. I always look at the positives in anything I do. That is a venue where a lot of greats have boxed. It's iconic, and I would love to do that on the way. Tick that box. You know, like I said, the Forest Grind's my dream fight, but I'm gonna have a lot more fights, so that would be nice it would be nice to box here, ticked off the list. And then hopefully the Forest Grind in the summer would be ideal. And then you never know, Vegas is something that a lot of fighters want to do as well. So them three would be, I'd love to do them in my career. So whichever order they come, as long as they all get done.
No, it wasn't that long ago you were winning the British title for the first time. Now you're a reigning world champion. You're about to defend in a high-profile fight, potentially in Madison Square Garden. Do you ever have to kind of pinch yourself? Has it all sunk in yet?
I never look back. I never do this. I never look back and think, no, done this and I've gone from that to that. But you know, a lot of people like saying they can't believe where I've come from in the space of basically it's been a year and a half because you know I've achieved all this in a year and a half basically because of the pandemic was a year. I didn't fight for a whole year, so I've become British Commonwealth, WBO European, and WBO World Champion in the space of a year and a half, taking away the pandemic. So it's been fast paced, but I still haven't got time to look back yet. I've still got a lot of massive fights, some massive fights ahead of me, and some big performances ahead of me. So I don't want to look back and try and just don't want to dwell on what I'm doing and what I've done yet because you know I've still got so much more to do. And sometimes that can make you unravel a bit if you stand there and look back and try and like, you know, what I'm trying to say it's just I'm looking forward. And that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years, 3 years, and that's what I'm just going to keep doing.
With that in mind, let's look ahead to Mick Conlan. What do you make of him? What do you say is his kind of strengths and weaknesses?
He's a really good fighter, obviously, world amateur champion, Olympian, but that's amateur boxing. This is professional boxing. He's got to prove himself in the professional game, and in the professional game, I'm ahead of him. I've got more experience. In my eyes, I've boxed better opposition and beat better opposition. I feel like I've boxed bigger, proper featherweights. I don't think if he has really, even though he's boxed at featherweight, his oppositions aren't really proper, full-blown seasoned featherweights. But yeah, I mean, he's good. This is a hard fight. His skill set, his work rate, he's got a lot of things that he brings to the table, but I've got a great team around me. Like I said, I've got the experience and I've got the power, and he's got a lot more questions that need to answer than myself on the night.
What changes in terms of your preparation for this compared to someone like Can Xu? Very different style. Everything
will be different. Like always, my team, Ben, Leigh Wood, and Barry will get me ready. I get a scouting report. When we get the date, I get a scouting report through on the same day, and that's basically what we build a whole camp on. Same as the mold fight, the same as the Kanzu fight. First of all, what's different is time. You know, Kanzu fight, I only had 6 weeks, 5 weeks preparation, really, 5 weeks of training. We're new pretty much with boxing Conlan from a while ago. So I've been back in the gym with Ben and doing pads, even with one arm, working on things, how to exploit what he does. And Ben's already gone through bits and bobs. We've already started like routinely drilling bits and bobs. But when the scouting report comes through, and then I'll be able to identify all them individual things and start working on them. And I don't want to give too much away. I know you're trying to pull something out of me, but
No.
you know, these videos get watched, but you just got to tune in and watch me execute the plan. And like I said to Tony Bellew before the Kanzu fight, people are going to say like, why is he not throwing his punches? He hasn't turned up. He's been inactive, but it was what I was doing that stopped him doing what he does. And it's going to be the same for this fight. It's all about what I'm going to be doing to take away his strengths.
Have you had any inkling or your team from the WBA about whether they plan to upgrade you to super champion? It seems like forever since Leo Santa Cruz has fought at featherweight.
Yeah. So I seen a video go out from the Conlans, was it yesterday? I think Santa Cruz has to box in December. And that's not very far away. So I'm not sure if they'll upgrade me or they'll say, look, you two, when you two fight, it'll be for the super title. Or they'll upgrade me. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. In my eyes, you know, I beat the most active, best featherweight the WBA had. In my eyes, I'm world champion. Santa Cruz hasn't boxed at the weight for 3 years. He shouldn't even be. His name shouldn't even be there. He's not even on box right. You know, he's not even in the mix. But that's the politics side. Let's focus on the fight. And this is a great fight. It's gonna be one for the fans for sure. And hopefully the WBA do the right thing.
You said earlier there's plenty more big fights to come. Obviously, Conlan just the first in those. But one that people have talked about since you won the title is, of course, a unification with Kid Galahad, who fights this weekend. You guys used to share a gym, of course, the Ingle Gym. And there's been a bit of back and forth on social media as well, which keeps everyone entertained. Before we talk about that potential fight, what do you make of his defence this weekend against Kiko Martinez?
It's a bit of a shambles, really. You know, after the stick he gave me about being a proper world champion, he's gone to defend against Kiko Martinez, which he's got 10 defeats on his record, which is more than my last 5 opponents put together. So, but yeah, that's not to overlook the fight, because it will be a great fight. Kiko Martinez has been good on recent form, but it's not really that level. Barry should really be fighting a better kid, but you know, I'm not sure if he made the decision or they're struggling to get opponents, but I'm expecting Barry to get the stoppage. You know, all the good fighters really got him out of there. So I'm expecting Barry to do the same thing.
How easy do you feel it will be to make that unification between yourself and Galahad when the time comes? You're both with the same promoter, of course, but there is a little bit of animosity there.
You know, it could be pretty easy to make when they sort the bits and bobs out of politics with the WBA. Hopefully they get upgraded, or you know, the Santa Cruz fight gets made. Either. I'm confident in whichever way that goes, and then the fight's a very easy fight to make. But at the same time, I think he needs me more than I need him. He's fighting Kiko Martinez. I mean, I don't know if I'm biased, but a lot more people would rather watch me in an exciting fight than Barry do the same thing what he does every fight. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being biased, but you know, the Navarrete fight for me, I love that fight. I've watched him numerous times, and I thought I was going to go down that path before the Kanzu fight, and I still like that fight. I think that's a really exciting fight for the fans, and one I back myself in. And he's number one, so why would I not want to fight the number one, top of the tree, and you know, try and take his spot? That's a great challenge, a massive challenge, and I've got my eyes on that. I prefer that fight, but if the Galahad fight makes sense down the line, and you know, it's building that way, because the longer it takes, probably another 8 months' time, it's going to be a really big fight. So yeah, who knows? You know, we're both got to keep winning.
When everything's going as well as it is for you at the moment, shoulder injury aside, of course, you know, momentum's building, you've got all these big fights in your future. What does that lend to your training camps? What's the mood like because of all that?
It's always the same, because we know we've got to work, and we do work extremely hard. Sometimes we just forget what we're fighting for, because we're all there grafting away as hard as we can. We don't even think what we're fighting for. We just think of our opponents. We think about what tasks we've been given, the drills we were doing. And it's just, you just go in there and just give 100%, or sometimes more. Sometimes you have to find more. There's days when Ben will push you past where you can be pushed. So you don't look around the gym and think, wow, there's Josh Taylor. He's like undisputed champion. You know, you've got Lee McGregor knocking the door for a world title. You know, you've got some really good kids in the gym. So you don't really look around and think like that. You're just thinking, you know, you need to get the job done in your next fight, regardless. You need to work as hard as you can work, and it's got a good environment to do that because everyone's doing the same thing.
Are you the sort of fighter that likes everything kind of prescribed to you, laid out? This is what you're doing today. This is what you're doing tomorrow. Or are you someone that asks a lot of questions? You know, why are we doing this? Have a bit of an input of your own as well.
Yeah, I like to be mapped out, know what I'm doing, but at the same time, when it comes to the boxing side of things, I do question things, and sometimes, you know, I always get the answer. I get the answers because Ben wants you to ask, why am I doing this? So he wants you to understand it, because when you can understand it, then you can do it right. If you don't understand it and you're just doing it, sometimes you can't. So for the Kanzu fight, you know, I got it straight away. So as soon as he said, right, you need to do this, you need to slow him down by doing this, you need to stab to the body, you need to break momentum, keep base, center the ring, all these things. I looked and I thought, yeah. And then I started doing it on the bag. And because I didn't have the imagination, I wasn't quite getting what I knew I had to do and how it worked, but I wasn't quite getting it. And then when I did it in sparring, and it all clicked together against a taller, bigger lad, and it worked a treat. And I kind of then thought, okay, now I know where and why, and I understood it a lot better. But yeah, I think all fights, you need to ask the question because you need to understand. If there's nothing you don't understand, then you need to ask the question. And a good coach will always explain things to you.
Great stuff. Mate, it's been a pleasure, as always. Can't wait for the fights. Once there's a date announced, we should probably do this again. But yeah, made up for you, and looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm very excited. You know, once so long ago when I was just sat in the gym scratching around, you know, for a whole year, no fights come in, and you know, now I'm on a big stage in big fights, and I'm just glad to be here. I love boxing. I'm in love with boxing again, and you know, I'm lapping it up, and I can't wait to get out there again.
Great stuff. Well, yeah, best of luck with the rest of the rehab, and yeah, back punching soon.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.